Well, now that a judge has ruled that the actions of the NSA are likely to be unconstitutional, and it's a federal judge at that, it seems to vindicate Edward Snowden, that he's a whistleblower, that he turned in information to the American people that they needed to have so that you can stop the unconstitutional actions of a government agency. Now, if he's a whistleblower and it turns out what he reported the government was doing was wrong, well, then he would be vindicated and he should be allowed to come back into the U.S. But the mainstream media and the establishment can't have that. We've already decided he's the bad guy because he's against the government. Doesn't matter if what the government is doing is unconstitutional or wrong or illegal. It doesn't matter. The government is always right if you turn on television, right? So CNN is going to bring on a hack that they call a legal analyst called Paul Callan. I'm going to tell you the trick they're going to do here. But first, let's watch the insane comments he makes.
He's the functional equivalent in the intelligence community of a mass murderer in terms of criminal law. And I say that because the amount of information that he has allegedly disclosed,
1.7 million documents,
it could make him the greatest traitor to the United States in American history.
Now think about that, right? CNN didn't say he's the equivalent of a mass murderer. CNN didn't say that Edward Snowden is the equivalent of the greatest traitor in American history, right? They just brought on an expert to do it. That's an old school Fox News trick, right? Sean Hannity does a panel with two black people who tell you that blacks are the worst and they keep whining and crying and they should shut up. Hannity didn't say that. Fox News didn't say that. He found two black assholes to say it, right? So now in this case, we bring on our legal analyst, who, by the way, curiously looks like Dr. Keith Ablow from Fox News, another lunatic from over there, right? And well, look at that. Look, he didn't even say that he was the biggest traitor. He says he could be the biggest traitor. Now, the reality is he can't say he's the biggest traitor because Snowden didn't give any of that information to a foreign government, and he didn't do it for his own gain. He gave it to the American people. He made it public. So he can't say that, but he comes on and implies it. So anybody watching in a split second goes, oh, CNN, okay, Snowden's a traitor and he's the equivalent of a mass murderer. Got it, we're moving on. That's how they play these games. Same thing they do in the case of Iran. Now, they don't say Iran has nuclear weapons. They just show really scary pictures of rockets launching, Iranians in lab coats, and they bring out an expert to say, oh, if they had, but real quick, if they had nuclear weapons, it would be unbelievable. It would be the worst thing in the world. Can you believe they're working on this nuclear program? This is how the mainstream media tries to deceive you because they work for the government. And what's interesting is, you think CNN and Fox News disagree? They don't disagree. Now, by the way, real conservatives and liberals agree on this too, that it's unconstitutional what the NSA did, and Edward Snowden is right. Actually, a right-winger brought that case forward, and where the federal judge ruled that it was unconstitutional, right? And the left clearly agrees, right? But the mainstream media is not on the left or right. They're not on any of your side. They're on the side of the government. So they're all going to cover them for them. CNN covers for the government, and look at how now Fox News is going to cover for the government. They're going to have thoughtless Bill Hemmer go on there with Michael Mukasey, who's former head of Department of Homeland Security, and he's going to, shockingly enough, be an expert that totally agrees with the government because he's the one that started the program in the first place. Look at this.
Metadata is the number that does the calling, the number that is called, the date of the call, and the length of the call. That's it. It's nothing about the content of the call. It's nothing even about the identity of the person making the call.
It's not my address.
It's not your address.
It's not the context of the conversation.
It's not any of the content of
no
the conversation.
No keywords that are searched for in here?
No words at all, key or otherwise.
Oh, no. Bill Hemmer, I love the way he has it. There's nothing in there that's bad. You guys are the best, right? The government is awesome. I love the government so much, right, Mukasey? Oh, look at that. The guy who was inside the government, who led one of those programs, agrees that that program was awesome. Funny how we found something Fox News and CNN agree on. How much they want to pleasure the government. One more.
Here's what he said. I cannot imagine a more indiscriminate and arbitrary invasion than this systematic and high-tech collection and retention of personal data on virtually every American citizen for purposes of querying and analyzing it without prior judicial approval. He continued, and I'll quote for him, such a program infringes on that degree of privacy that the founders enshrined in the Fourth Amendment.
Well, that sounds very ominous, but I think the mistake that he made, I think where he went off the rails, was in analyzing what the government could do if it abused the program, rather than what the government in fact does when it uses the program.
All right, now one quick correction. Of course, as you saw there, Mukasey is the former Attorney General, not the head of the Department of Homeland Security. He used to do the legal justifications for why you could do all this, what turns out to be unconstitutional spying. So in that clip, Mukasey is saying, we didn't do anything wrong. I mean, you just heard Bill Hemmer tell you, we're just collecting metadata. Now, we've shown in previous stories that, in fact, they have already abused that, but those were just lone bad apples, and they don't let it ruin the apple cart. Lone wolves, just everything is an aberration. Normally, when they spy on 300 million people's calls and find out who you're calling, if you're calling your mistress, you're calling, your bookie, whoever you might be calling. No, that's not spying on you. No. The government needed to have that information, and they haven't abused it yet. I mean, they have it. The very fact that they have it indicates that they could use it against you, but they haven't yet, as far as you know. That's also secret. Once again, really funny that the guys who seem to disagree on everything, the one thing they agree on is the government is the best, the establishment is awesome, and you better shut up about it.